Hi guys, it's Ms Christel here from Central, and we are continuing our theme of winter. So today I have a fun little art project that you guys can do at home. Very simple materials, and it is called salt painting. So the materials for this project are pretty simple. First, you're going to need some table salt. You're going to need quite a bit. Then you're going to need some construction paper. Since we're doing snowflakes, I picked a dark blue and a light blue, but you can pick any color you like. Just, remember what colors you're going to use that around. Next, you're going to need some glue. This is how the salt's going to stick. A pencil or a marker to make your snowflakes. I'm going to do mine in pencil first. That way, if I make mistakes, I can erase it. And then I'm going to go over in marker. And then finally, you need your watercolors. With the brush. Mine's been used. I've been using it a lot, so that's why mine looks messy. And then just a little bit of water for our watercolors. All right, next I'm going to show you how to make a snowflake. Real quick, one of the things I forgot to mention when I was going over the materials at first was I really recommend a plate or another piece of paper that you can dump the salt onto once you got it on your paper. That way you're reusing the same salt that you've already used, and you're not just wasting a bunch of new salt. All right, so the first step to making our snowflake is we're going to kind of pick an area and make a kind of big X. Just like that. And then you're just going to add lines through it. Kind of how you would make a star. Well, not really a star, but you know what I mean. And then we're just going to add a little bit of flair to it. As you can see from my tablecloth, these snowflakes have these little kind of branches at the end. So that's kind of what I'm going to add here. I'm really lucky because my tablecloth is snowflake themed, so it's pretty easy for me to kind of copy what I see. I'll go ahead and that's why we do it in pencil. That way we can fix a little bit of a mistake like that later. I'm going to add it 2 for each. So that can be one snowflake already. You can kind of add a little bit of extra like that to kind of do it some more. But the base X and the lines is how you would start your snowflake. So I'm going to draw a few other different ones. This is just a very basic and easy snowflake to start with. So I've gone ahead and I've drawn 3 different snowflakes. I feel like because my paper is light enough, I don't need to go over them with a marker. But if you're using a darker color like a dark blue or the purple, then I would suggest using a marker to kind of help you see. But these are my 3 snowflakes. I could add more if I want, but I'm just going to start with these basic 3. Let me get a little zoom in. That way, if you would like to copy what I did, you can. It's always good to copy when you first start if you need help with ideas. And then the next thing to do is we're just going to add some glue over each of our snowflakes. I'm going to suggest doing them one by one. That way you can see what I mean. So I've kind of started adding glue to my snowflakes. Oops, I accidentally touched the glue there. But I'm running into the problem where this little thing right here is kind of making the glue come out a little bit thicker than I want in certain places. So a trick that you can do is if you have a spare piece of paper, you can kind of do a big glob of glue, and then using like the tip of a pencil or a toothpick, you can kind of gently add the glue to where you want to get the lines a little bit more precise. All right, so once you got glue onto your snowflake, the next thing to do is to pour the salt on it. If you have a plate, you can put the paper on and pour it over. I recommend that. That way you can reuse the salt for each of the snowflakes you make. So I know it looks like I poured a lot of salt in it, but again, that's why I'm going to use this plate. That way, once it feel like it's all on, I can just dump it off. And I can reuse that salt for a different snowflake. It'll come out looking something like this. You can go back and fix some of the details later. As you can see, I didn't get to add my dots quite yet, but you're just going to do this for each of the snowflakes you make. Now, obviously, when you use this salt that's been touching the glue, I wouldn't recommend eating with it later. So try to use as much salt as you can and reuse the same salt. That's what I mean. So before I go on and I add glue to my other snowflakes, I just kind of want to point out what I meant earlier about it coming on too thick. As you can see here, it got a little bit messy because the opening on this, it's not the greatest because it has this right here. Normally this is really good if we're just trying to glue something, but it's a little bit frustrating when you're trying to be more precise. You know, just compare this to like this right here or this right here, which was made using the toothpick and the kind of dab of glue method where you just kind of paint it on the snowflake. All right, I'm gonna finish gluing and adding salt to my other snowflakes, and I'll see you here in a second. And this is what my final paper looks like so far. I got my 3 snowflakes. I added some details to my bigger one and my first one, my larger one. The bigger the snowflake is, the easier it'll be to add the glue and to add detail. So that might be something you want to keep in mind when you make this project yourself. And I also added some little other dots of glue and salt to kind of add like a little bit of a snow effect. Now, if you like the white, you can go ahead and leave your project done here. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some watercolor to the top of the salt. So the way we do that is you're going to take your watercolors and your water, and you're just going to get your paintbrush just slightly wet. And you're going to pick the color that you want to do. I think for my first one, I think I might actually do purple. Now, the thing is you want to make sure you get a lot of paint onto your paintbrush. So that's why you don't want it to be too watery when you go and you do your watercolors. And then, let's see, we'll start with a dot just to make sure it works. And then you're just going to just add a touch. And then it'll spread out. Here, let me do another one that way you guys can see what it looks like. And see how it kind of spread. So I think for the next one, maybe I'll do, let's do an orange. I'm gonna get there, add a lot to the brush, and we'll make this one right here our orange one. So you're just gonna start in a place, put your thing down, and it will spread. And you're just gonna kind of add these dots all throughout, get some more orange onto the paintbrush, and just dot. And the paint itself will spread across the salt. So if you're using the watercolors that you got in the art kits, this is just kind of a, what's the word, like a palette, so you guys can see how they would look out. Purple can come out pretty dark very easily, so I recommend doing that a little bit more gently. I think green came out the best, personally, followed by red. And there you have it. That is how you paint with salt. I find the salt gives a really cool effect to snowflakes, but you can really do it for just about anything, honestly. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys found this really interesting, and I hope you guys try it at home. Bye!